Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Cone Racing League, Tier 5, Season 9, Round number 7. That means we are quite literally in the second half of the season. Last time out, of course, it was the Canadian Grok Nelson dominate an XL rating race, taking the win ahead of the recently relegated X-Maze. It was our championship leader, Chimp, that rounded off the podium after a thoroughly debated steward session, so Nacho leave his P3 finishing position. It's going to be Tomo Tip Top then, is going to be leading us out on this first lap of this qualifying session around the newly modified Catalonia circuit. I'm breaking up here, lads. Who better then to take us through this incredibly early lap time than our very own Lee? I started to stumble over it halfway through.
I can't believe you, man. I knew it was going to be slow. Oh my god. Yeah, hello. Thank you. Yes, it's raining in Espanol. You're here. I'm a bit flustered after that, you know.
You're a bit flustered, mate. You know yourself. In the last 10 minutes, I've just incredibly started coughing. And I can't seem to stop, so I was getting halfway through them sentences there, I'm joking.
Yeah, I heard you, but it is absolutely... But no, it's absolutely pissing it down here in Spain, so...
There goes a PG-13 rate.
Who cares? Everyone in the league's over 14, from my knowledge, anyway. Tom did that we were first. Yeah, you said a newly modified truck. Obviously they've got rid of the chicane now, and it's just a fast way happening like it used to be, so yeah, wet quality should make it interesting. I wonder if it will be a race that Tom Tipped Up almost goes wide on his outlap. He'll be the first driver to... Oh my, he's sliding. Oh, Jesus, don't die, lad. You have an inside lap here. Around in the final corner, the Alfa Romeo will start his final lap. Yeah, it should be an interesting one. Obviously last week around Canada was... I mean, I don't know what's more hectic, the race or the comms box. It was something.
It was it was certainly an interesting race last week, of course. Yep, Canada, Mark Wilson put in an absolute dominating display, like I briefly mentioned earlier on there. A brilliant display. And we got the new little joke system that you've obviously already heard quite a bit tonight, that we're going to try and keep to a minimum. Lap time here tonight then, I've no idea what kind of times we're expecting in the wets. If it was dries, I would expect maybe a high, maybe even a mid 111 if we got a perfect, brilliant lap in. The wets, obviously these lap times are going to increase ever so slightly around this circuit. It is, of course, 14 turns, 8 of which to the right, around the 4.6 kilometre or 2.9 mile circuit. Tomo Tip Top getting a little bit held up by either Rob or I think it was Murphy there, Lee.
We just came back from a quality ban, so that's not good. Also, Scott, by the way, essentially your mic's completely in your mouth, so maybe just, you know, move it away a little bit. Please and thank you.
That's just my throat, mate. I need to go have a good cough.
You did that, mate. You did that. Tom Tipped Up. Round the final corner, the first driver of the competing lap. We'll see how representative this is. It's been quite unsteady, but obviously the first lap in the dry is always like that. Round the final corner at 27.4 will be the first lap of the session. Next up is... Who's next up? It's an Alpine, I think. Is it? No, Alpine starting lap. Who's next? Who's finishing lap next? It's a Haas, no?
I think it's one of the Haas's. Is it Ben? It's Ben. It's always Ben. He's always out early. 27 flat. And matched in the 27 series by Mark Wilson to kick us off in this wet session. So there you go, 27s coming in for the first times. They're probably going to find some lap time over the course of this session, of course. It might get a little bit wetter, it might get a little bit drier, but the drivers will bed in a bit more and get more adjusted to this wet session. The Nachos on a lap, of course. P3 on track last week, lost out on the podium due to a penalty. He'll be looking to redeem himself. I'm really struggling with my throat here, pal. I don't know if you can tell that. I sound like Tony.
Nah, don't do a band like that. Tone's pretty different. Yeah, Nacho. Unfortunately, dropped out of the podium this time, which unfortunately, I mean, on track he still has a 100% podium record in Colin this season. So yeah, but at the moment, you already went through the last week's results. The Champs League in the championship, you know. Ronnie started off as reserve, who everyone kind of as nachos as the 26-7, who kind of was written off. He's now top of the championship, and that's what we like. We like everybody underdogs. Gautier, who's not here tonight in P2. Then it's Tom and Tip Top, Nacho, Ben, and Mark Wilson. You're all within 20 points of the top driver, which is just crazy. Curly with a 26-0. We're starting to get faster times now. Yeah, who's anyone else on that? But obviously, I think in a wet session like this, you might just want to go for multiple laps, try to get your eye in. Next card, I believe, it's not Rob, it's Will. I think that's Will on that.
Yeah, Will Simple in a lap. He's just currently coming to the end of the second sector. 1:01.7. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe use that as a little reference here, Lee, as the evening progresses. Yellow flag in sector 2 for one of our Mercedes. That is Pancake, having a spin before that. Tricky uphill left-hander now. Like you see here, weight qualifying session tonight, Lee. The cars, we're not going to see a traditional. I think this is our first proper wet session we've had for the season.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
For them maybe those that aren't too familiar, a dry session, you obviously go out, you do one lap because the tyres start to degrade pretty quick. And away in an intersession, Lee, we're going to see these guys do maybe multiple runs on the same tyre, just to try and build that temperature. You're not going to use the same ERS, you're not going to use the same tyre wear, and you're actually going to build a little bit of confidence as the session goes on. And the tyres start to rubber in. I've just jumped on Pancake just to see what kind of confidence he's got, and
it's not great, is it?
I'm just looking at the inputs here, and they're flashing about like I think we might have to put an epilepsy warning there.
Yeah, no, is he stuck? Oh, he's on disqualified, isn't he? No, he's reset the track,
which is but that's fair enough.
Fine to do. He was stuck and he didn't do it when anyone was there. So we caught your Pancake, but it's fine. You know, that one was legal. Next up on the track is Spider Rob, I think, coming through the newly. I wouldn't say revamped. No, yeah, revamped more than changed. It's not really new. We used to run this little back many moons ago when I wasn't even a thought in the world. And Scott was, what age are you, Scott? Let me think. 2006 was the last time it was around. So you would be. Hold on a minute. I can't do the math.
It's getting these abacus out here, lads. You were just a speckle in your mother's eye back then.
You were 8, I think, no?
Yeah, I was 8 going on 9 back then. Yeah.
That's good math for me, Scott, you know.
That's good math. That's the kind of math that gets you good GCSE results.
Very true indeed. Who's on lap next?
Ghost, I'm jumping on board with Ghost Angel 1 here. He's coming to the end of the first sector. The start of the second sector. We should say, of course, the left-hander of 5 is currently going through it right now. This little kink at the bottom of the hill is technically 6, and then the 7 and 8. It's almost a chicane. It's not really a chicane in the traditional sense, but you've got a left-hander, a little right-hander, and then this in a dry session. That is the sort of the how brave are you corner. Some people maybe take it flat out, some people little left. Of course, all depends on the setup. Here's part of the reworked section, of course, Lee. This used to be a lot tighter of a first apex. It's now more of a rounded corner. Similar old for turn number 11, the uphill, turn number 12, sorry, the uphill right-hander. And this bit, again, revamped back to the old pre-2006 layout. Personally, I think it's one for the better changes, Lee. I used to hate that chicane.
Me too. I think it was unanimously hated in the F1 community. As well as Simbo's on lap. Next up, Ben Williams coming through the final 2 corners. Obviously, in the drive you filed nearly, but obviously in the way you want to lift off a lot. Will Simple invalidates, so that won't be enough time for him. Next up is one of the Ferraris. It's Wee Robbie, is it? No, he's in the pits. Next up is a McLaren. The ball out laps. Who's on the lap? Sure, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to find someone. I can't find anyone.
Who have we got?
Who have we got?
Hedgehod's just finishing a lap. He's not going to improve. Spider is coming through the middle part of the track. It looks to be on a lap, of course. I suppose we'll get an indication after this corner and the straight ahead if he is going to improve at all. It is still Curly on pole, Mark Wilson P2, MKP P3 and Nacho P4. A pretty decent lead for Curly as things stand. Mark Wilson pretty clear in P2, but 8 minutes still left in this session. Anything could happen, of course. We still have 4 cars yet to make an appearance on the timing boards. I do believe as well we might have a 19th driver joining us. Lee Mays is hopefully going to try and get in. I think he's had a bit of an issue with the old update as Spider lets a car by and isn't going to finish this lap. Victor Mean, surely he's in one.
Yeah, Victor Mean. Where is he now? He's coming through the middle sector. He has a car ahead of him, which is an AlphaTauri Murphy, I believe, who is also on a flying lap, so he is not on an obligation to get out of his way. Victor Mean, beats all rookie of the season, has got barely any points. We'll be hoping to try and put that right here tonight. 1 minute 03, which I believe is quite competitive for that middle sector. That should put him in the front if he manages to hold it together. Coming through, we'll get a bit of dirty air from Murphy, which you can see. Oh, Victor Means lost the back end. That's that time gone. It was looking very good for him. That's unfortunate. Next up, we'll go on with Murphy. He's pitted. No, we're not going over him. MKP goes P2 on a 26-2. Driver close to Murphy Macros on 26-3. Driver's getting close to currently, but still 2 tenths ahead. So that was very good off from Curry, honestly. It really was. Still being 2 tenths ahead in the wet quality session, which always you see times rapidly improving here, but at the moment he still hangs on. Next up is, who is on the lap? Who's first on the lap? It's Will, I think, if I'm correct. Coming through the chicane, it's not really a chicane. Into turn 9, which as you said, would be a daring corner rail. I was trying to go 5, but ended it wet. You don't really dare to try that. Coming to the end of the middle sector. 1.3 up. Apparently, according to the game, it's purple. Oh, he spun. I'm cursing drivers now, Scott. It's happened like 4 times already.
Everybody you watch just seems to curse. To be fair, I've done a bit myself. I was going to jump on board with AFL. Noticed he was just starting a lap time there. Hasn't set a lap yet. He was coming through the first and second corners, and he'd already invalidated his lap. So whether an invalidation this and next, or whether he made a mistake right at the start of the lap, but he's going to have to do 1 more before he gets a chance to get a time down. MKP, I believe, is coming into the pits. Nacho has invalidated his lap. What about Ben? Ben is coming to the end of the first sector, and he has half a second of his best time as things stand, but maybe a mistake in the second or third sector on that first lap could provide us an opportunity to improve upon the 775, sorry, that he currently has set for the Haas car at the moment. He's coming up through that turn number 8, that little chicane, the fast right-hander up next, and I get the impression here, Lee, I don't think he's pushing terribly hard, judging by that ERS deployment. 2 seconds off his best time, so sort of about the 1 minute mark then. We're looking at the end of that second sector for a really competitive time. We'll maybe check back in on Ben. I think Mark Wilson has just started a lap here. Lee, he's currently coming through turn 5 in a McLaren sandwich on track, but plenty of air in front and a little bit of air behind. We'll see how he does coming to the end of the second sector. Remember that 1 minute mark is roughly about, and that wasn't a joke about Mark Wilson, the 1 minute mark, although we're on that sort of tangent tonight, Lee, aren't we?
Indeed we are.
Let's see how competitive it is. It is a 59.834. He's just under a 10th up in his time, so that would gain him up into P2, but he's going to need a little bit more in this final sector if he's going to take the provisional pole. It is, by the looks of things, the best second sector of the session, but now he's just got 2 corners to link up here. The number 95 Ferrari in the red and yellow, going very fittingly with the Spanish flag, it must be said. What is this time going to be? It's going to be a 1:25.711. What an impressive final sector that was.
Yeah, you could just tell that he was sending it to the final sector, and it worked for him entirely. Marcos, 2 wins so far, ball street circuit. The street circuit more so, but he's doing it here at the moment in slippery conditions on a track that is definitely not a street circuit. Next up on the lap, let's give. Who is closest to the line? Victor Means coming up to the line, I think, or is he done a lap? He's starting a lap, never mind, not him. Pancake, is he finishing a lap? He is, I think. And Pancake up to the line. What will be for the Mercedes? P9 27.1. Not too bad at all, that will put him right in the mix in the midfield. Next up is AFL, and he's in the pits. Why is everyone on the moment is starting up and finishing up? Okay, Tom tipped up. He's up. Oh, he's just spawned and he's out.
Well, I was going to jump on board
I
with him,
can't
but
keep doing it, man. Actually, scary what I'm doing.
I'm going to jump on
Really
board
is.
with Murphy then. Now, he's had, remember, some very good qualifying sessions this season. Couldn't quite convert them on race day. And his qualifying's maybe fallen away a little bit. Maybe partly due to, it can be a little bit demoralising. It's a 59 at 9.56, so he's on kind of that, he's on that mark of Mark Wilson that put in, you know, the 59s. So if you can try and match him with a good final sector here, of course, we don't know how much time was in his previous laps. We don't quite know. The conditions might be getting slightly better or slightly worse for the drivers on track, but we'll get a good indication. He could probably get another one in, and he does go P2 with a 25.957 here. I think the conditions are getting slightly better here, Lee, and maybe just the drivers as well, getting slightly more confident on the tyres. MKP on a lap, Ben I don't think is on a lap. Pancake is, by the looks of things, on a lap. No, he's not. That's just a cool down lap, maybe, or just a mistake in there.
MKP is down by 3/10 in the middle sector, so that's not okay. Mark Wilson, who was in the lead, he was up in the first sector, but he was up in the first sector, then he backed off on the lap. So that's important. Chimp, is he on a lap? I think he made a mistake coming through turn 3. Yeah, he did. He's way off. So not him. Who is on a flyer then at the moment? Trying to catch someone in tow for someone. 10th in the middle sector. We'll see how much time he can gain through the final one. The Aston Martin coming through the final 2 corners, just goes very wide there and invalidates his time, so that won't be an improvement for him. Is anyone on a... Man, why is no one on a lap? I can't catch anyone on a lap.
I was just looking there, seeing a Ferrari come in the final sector, but Mark Wilson is not on a lap. He's got an Alpha Tauri closely behind him. Is that Spider? No, it's Murphy.
It's Murphy. But he doesn't rev up the line. Can he get pole? He can't. He improves by a 10th. Still not enough to throw Mark Wilson, but I don't know how much time's left the game. If you want to show me the times to everybody yellow flag, quite appreciate. Currently is up by a 10th. Obviously, the Paul set over so much in the session. Didn't set a second time since that first one, so the second time. Oh, he's gone into the gravel, into the pit lane. Oh, he's gonna go into the wall. Oh.
That was
oh, Chimp's out. Or is he
Chimp, that's a retirement in the pit. That was very reminiscent of Hockenheim. I can't remember the year. Was it 2016?
2018.
2018. Very, very reminiscent of that. They are just completely messing up the pit entry. And there's your answer to how much time's left. No time at all. AFL up to the line finishes his qualifying. Ghost Angel 1 does also. I think Will Simple, no, it'll be MKP up to the line next. Does not improve, stays provisional P4. Next up is the McLaren of Nacho. I was trying to find them there in the list. You've seen my brain working in full time. And I don't think he is going to improve. No, it's not P5 at the best for Nacho. Mark Wilson next up to the line. What can he do? Current pole sitter, a 25.711 for him. Is he going to improve in this final one? Goes very wide and does invalidate. Next up then, Murphy. Can he snatch pole away at the death of the session? He cannot. It is then going to be Topher up to the line, does not improve on P14. Pancake is invalidated. His teammate Duncan then, currently in P17. Can the Portuguese driver improve? He does not. P17 for him. I'm trying to figure out who is next. I see all these different colours. All the varieties of blue.
Oh, it's not Spider-Rob, he's backed off.
Ben, maybe?
Next? No, Ben, I think... No,
Ben is on a flying lap here. I don't think he's on for an improvement, however. So it is going to be P6 at best for him. I'm going to jump on board with Curly. No, I'm not, because Curly's going very slow. So I think Hedge...
And that's qualifying.
Yeah, that is us.
Hedge is done as well.
That was very anticlimactic.
It really was. Mark Wilson on pole. Chip down in 7th. Tom to dominate. I'm trying to remember actually championship. I read it earlier, but I'm going to get up again just so we can kind of see where all the guys are starting. Oh yeah, well, Chimp is leading. He's in 7th. Gotti's not here. The highest So realistic. So Mark Wilson's done well. He's in P1. He's only 20. It is crazy that a top six are only separated by 20 points. That is like.
It is mental when you consider that there's 31 points available tonight alone, and bear in mind we've got 6 races still to go. There is what's that? 186 points available, and there's 20 points separating 6 of them. It's going to be, dare I say it, the best championship battle we've had in Tier 5 ever. Of course it is. It's the first season of Tier 5, folks. I got you there.
Hey.
Hook, line and sinker. You just got gazumped.
Nah, you said you've been saying for the whole week if I'm gonna get to the end, you did before. So you know
I
what,
did.
I can respect that. I wonder if it's dry. I wonder if it's a dry or wet race.
Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. Like you said, Mark Wilson in the Tifosi, the Ferrari, taking pole position ahead of Murphy's back up there, refinding some of that quality form that he had earlier on in the season. Curley up there in P3 with a solid lap. That was one of the earliest laps in the session here, of course. MKP ahead of Nacho, Ben, Funny O's Chimp and Toma Tiptop both retiring, although Toma Tiptop doing it on track. Will Simple, Wee Rabby, Pancake, Hedgehog, 11 round off the top 12 with Spider Rob, Topher, Ghost Angel 1, Victor Mean Duncan and AFL rounding off our 18 car grid. X-Maze unfortunately not able to join with the update, and we did have a reserve lined up who has made a bit of a joker of the whole thing. That's a little inside joke.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see, Lee, how things line up for the Spanish Grand Prix. Good news, or bad news, depending on how we want to look at it, it is going to be a dry start to this race. Strategy-wise, I'm expecting a lot of hard mediums, maybe some medium hards, but let's be honest, Lee, Spain is no stranger to the old safety car and the old bit of drama.
That is very true, yeah. There's been a good few famous moments here at Spain, so it should be quite interesting. Strategy be interesting. Some people like a two-stop around here. Personally, I don't see the point of two-stop. Also, softs can be trouble around there, so could see a device and strategy. That's definitely a possibility. What was I going to say?
It used to be on some of the older games one of my more favourite tracks for the race, purely because the way the track is and the temperature, you could actually make the hards viable. Back in the days of the old soft medium, they were it was one of the tracks where the hards were a viable race strategy tyre. Of course, that is the sort of the common denominator now, Lee. But we could see the old, a couple of attempts, maybe a two-stop, maybe a three-stop even, with the safety cars, or the rain makes another reappearance. We'll wait and see. Some famous moments from CRL history around this circuit. There was the infamous, I think, Deluxe's safety car restart in Tier 3 a number of seasons ago. A crash in the final corner. It's where I made my commentator debut, and of course, but it's also where we've got 5 red lights. And away we're going racing here, Lee. Mark Wilson getting a decent start here, holding off the likes of Murphy and Curley, who's now up into P2. To the green painted outline part of the circuit, but I think overall, Lee, we're through pretty clean, and look at that for a rainbow of strategies, a mix of mediums, hards and soft, all up and down through the field, Lee. This is going to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, there's mixed strategy. Mark wasn't holding out in front. This the DNF. Oh, as you said, it was clean. It's been very unclean at the back. There's been a contact between Tom Tiptop and Topher, and that was interesting. No safety car though, so we will continue. Mark Wilson in front. Murphy, it's probably on soft tire, dropped down in the third. Got a good start, but I don't know what happened. I didn't really catch it. I was watching those in the middle of the pack. But making strategy, you love to see it. Mark Wilson doing well. Oh, Murphy down the inside of Curly. Sends it on a grippier soft tires, which would be better at this point in the race here. Curly trying to defend. They make contact, but they get through just about. Murphy goes around the outside and it's up now into P2. Mark Wilson's gone, 1.6 seconds already. He did this last week, he's doing it again so far. Excellent start from him. But coming onto the back straight, ending lap 1, Mark Wilson will lead. Again, anyone trying to make an overtake? But I think Nacho's going to go for it on the back of Curly. He's too far back though. But Ben's going to go for it on the back of Nacho. Curly's going to go for it on Murphy. Oh, and nearly 3 wide as contact. that was Curly breaking early and the other two breaking late. MKP threw past up in the P5, past Ben. Now he's going to go for the move on the McLaren, who goes wide out of turn 3 into turn 4, where we saw Nico Rosberg lose Hamilton crash. All this is to go, but MKP has to hold position behind the McLaren for now. The first 3 corners were fine, but after it's been quite a chaotic start, Scott.
Yeah, dramatic lap 1 really kicking in here. Mark Wilson, like you say, 1.8 seconds clear, of course. He's in the mediums, he's got Murphy behind on the softs, who thanks to that little coming together, shall we say, has managed to gap 1.4 on Corley. You'd expect it though, with the softer, more grippier tyre compound. Ben having a little send. Oh, that's very, very audacious from the Haas driver. MKP doing very good to stay out of the danger zone there and not get tangled up, and gets on through it into, or holds on through it, should say, into P5. This mix of strategy and tyres really going to come into play here, Lee. Going to cause maybe a little bit of havoc, like we've seen with Curly braking earlier because he's on the hards. Nacho's going to have a little bit more grip, and he's going to look to try and get the move maybe once again. Isn't going to be side by side into turn 1, but takes a slightly later turn in and might get a run out now round the outside of turn 3. Going to come to the inside, and just you can see the difference in the tyre grip there, folks, as Ben goes behind, goes through behind MKP. I thought Ben was making a lovely overtake, and it's just MKP, MK spinning. That was terrible.
I want to point out though, a championship leader Chimp is down in 16th. He had to pit. Not good for him at all. Which are bold as wide open. I say wide open, but I mean, there's still 5 rounds to go after this. But Murphy is close to gapping a little bit, which you would expect him to do on those tyres. Currently losing time, but still doing well considering his medium runs and soft runs as well, and the whole on P3. And all he has to do is keep with us. Once he's in the train, he's better off, because we went to some of the hard runners try a hard soft. Not impossible. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but they're kind of spreading out, everyone into their own little groups. Natural behind the back curve. Sure, he's going to have him here. He's so much faster. Through whipping up the corner. He's taking a wider line, just trying not the back of the car. Wasn't a bit wide. Might get a warning for that, but let's see. He'll have the DRS and have Slipstream. He's using ERS.
He's got Ben though going side by side. Just that poor exit out of the final corner, Lee, compromising him so badly. And he does get the move in Curly, but he loses out to Ben. It's a gain in one way, but it's been taken away in another. But he's coming back side by side almost through turn 3. Going to have a little look into turn 4. They almost make contact, the two of them very, very racing close together here, but the soft tyres maybe just proving a little bit too much at this early stage. See that Nacho playing a very, very fine line here. Almost a huge coming together.
You get to pass them as well, because Ben won't be happy about that, but because I mean, he want to try and pull away and try and get a gap before he has to pit, because the soft tyres will die quite soon. He goes a bit wide into gravel, keeps it on track though. We're behind Nacho. This could get feisty between these two. Let's see. Murphy's nearly got within DRS range of Mark Wilson. It might take another lap or so. Or let's have it. No, you won't have it this straight. It could be another lap until Murphy gets in the DRS. We'll see what happens though. With this battle of P3 on track in a moment. Further than AFL making a move for 12th ahead of Duncan. Battles everywhere you look. Grant Timon as you go onto the base straight. Ben using his ERS. He wants to get this move done. Wants to try and fly away from Nacho. Both using the overtake, but it's no contest in the end. Ben just flies past. That's crazy how fast he wasn't in the straight. We grab you up in the P5 as well against Curly. Curly's trying to hold it though, but can't. That Ben straight iron speed though was something to behold. Jesus.
Yeah, that DRS really on full display there. Nacho just a sitting duck to Ben, getting a good exit from the final corner, of course, thanks to those softer tyres, and then that DRS, that rear wing just opens up, and your top line just shoots right on up. Murphy though shooting right on up to the rear of Mark Wilson, taking advantage of his red striped sauce. He's going to have DRS now along this back straight, and may have a little look down into turn number 10. Thinks better of it, isn't quite close enough. Two varying strategies here. Mark maybe going for a medium, I don't know, a medium soft could be maybe just possible if you've got Sergio Perez level of skills. Maybe a medium hard for the Ferrari. Murphy could be a soft medium, it could be a soft hard. We shall wait and see. He's going to have DRS once again, does the Alpha Tauri on the Ferrari. But is he going to get close enough for a move? He is closing down that gap, they're closing very closely. And Mark moves across a little bit late to the inside, and Murphy, thrown off by that, takes evasive action and does avoid a collision. I feel we might get a report for that one as Nacho and Ben are squabbling further behind. Let's jump aboard with them. Nacho on the inside through turn number 3, Ben hanging out the outside on the softer tyres. These two putting on a real ding-dong battle. They've gapped me, Rabbi and Curly further behind. Curly dropping like a stone on those hards, but don't discount him yet. He could come back well later, in this race as he gets on the fresher, softer compounds. Ben, though, holding down the inside into turn number 5. That's going to turn to 6, 7 and 8 now. The uphill, a little mini chicane before 9. The fast right-hander will ride on board with Nacho, see if he can get a decent run. He does take a tighter line, carrying maybe a little bit less speed, but that DRS is going to pull him right up to the gearbox of the Haas once again. These two putting on a great show. Further behind, Will Simple goes down the inside of Curly. What a camera angle that is, as we see the Alfa Romeo get overtaken by the Williams. Alfa Romeo not giving up lightly, Lee. He's going to fight this one back all the way down towards the first turn here.
Yeah, he will indeed. Murphy's too far back, I believe, to go for Mark Wilson. I'll comment on Mark Wilson. He's like, here comes Nacho. I want to be a contest against Ben. He's just gonna get by him, man. Ben won't the much. The Mark Wilson thing was a weird one, right? Sorry, here comes Curly. I'll type it that. Curly gonna go round the outside of Will Simple into turn 1. Put on hard tyres. Important for the race. Will holds on. But yeah, the Mark Wilson thing was a weird one. He moved late, but I thought it was fair, and I thought Murphy maybe jinked a bit too much. I think it was a little bit of what's the word? I think maybe Murphy did reacted a bit late. But I do agree that it wasn't a bit from Mark Wilson, but I think maybe the move from Murphy was a bit too dramatic. But you know, both cars still there, no damage, so it is what it is. But Mark Wilson has since got Murphy 1.1 seconds. Maybe our soft tires are starting to dry. I mean, yeah, it is dry anyway. Ben is starting to drop from Nacho as well. I think we're starting to see the medium and hard tires becoming the faster tire here.
Yeah, I think they're, like you say, the softs, they're hitting that cliff and starting to lose a little bit of that pace. The medium's probably the best tyre as Murphy picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. I was having a little look here at Topher and MKP and Duncan and AFL for that matter. They've been having a little ding-dong down 11 through 14. Nobody quite able to make a move at this stage. Let's get a little bit of love to the daddy in the paddock. It's Hedgehog 11. He's trying to line up and overtaking a fellow daddy of CRL Spider, and he gets the move done pretty easy. That DRS really in back into the DRS of Mark Wilson, so maybe he'll be looking to try and get a little bit more life out of these red stripe softs and try and get a move done coming up. But aside from that now, Lee, the top 8 kind of starting to spread out apart from these top 2. A great mix of strategies though that hopefully will bring them back together towards the end of this Grand Prix. Tried to get one of my little jokes in there.
There we go.
Yep. Had to happen, but Murphy not quite getting closing the gap maybe as much as he would like with that DRS. Mark Wilson is on a pretty similar level of ERS battery. In fact, they're near enough identical as AFL has lost it coming through the uphill left-right chicane type corner. I'm surprised that's not a virtual or even a full.
Right, I am gonna check something because there has been a glitch where safety cars turn off after you turn them on. Safety car is off. That would explain a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So right, we've been affected by that glitch.
I mean, thank you, Codemasters.
Yeah, thanks for that one, Cody's. You know, there's an issue with the game, they fix it, and they make 4 more issues.
It's like 1 for 4, or whatever the hell. It's stupid, but unfortunately it is what it is, and yeah, what can you really do about it? How can get on with it? It's the only thing you can really do. I mean, it's sad because some of the drivers will stick it out the whole race and not know that, you know, like Sir Rob, Ghost Danger 1, you know, guys like Chimp, all those guys will probably stick it out to the end just in case there's a safety car. But there won't even be one, you know. It doesn't reward the guys who stick around no matter what happens to them. And I have a lot of respect for those guys, and it's shocking from Codemasters, you know. Like, how's that a glitch in the game?
Yeah, I know.
It is crazy.
There was the other one as well, with ghosting getting turned off in tier 2.
Yeah, no.
And I'd just like to point out the rotation. We do read the comments. You speak a load of rubbish. You and Leon, you're never commentating this tier again, mate. After all the bullying that happened,
me and Scott are the goats, man.
Exactly, mate. You'll never be on our level. Will Simple getting the move done on wee Rabi. The Ferrari losing out to the Williams down into turn 1. And maybe those hards starting to come into their own now, Lee versus the mediums. That safety car, knowing that's off now, and I suspect the drivers listening in, or just through their own sort of realisation that there isn't a safety car happened yet. But this race is now all going to be about pure strategy. Those that maybe banked on a safety car, and banking on a safety car can also play not just into the tyres, Lee. Are we going to see somebody run out of fuel now because they've expected a safety car? They've maybe underfueled ever so slightly. And could we see that kind of dramatic finish? Now I'm looking at Will Simple right now. He's got a yellow indicator for his fuel. I'm not too sure what that means. But I can't imagine it's a good thing.
No, it's not. It means he's on the wrong lap. That's getting me so... I'm trying to think of a better word so I don't curse. Sorry. Murphy going for Mark Wilson gets past and up in the P1 on the soft tires. I'm surprised they're still going for as long as they are, but yeah, it's such a just a stupid thing for some drivers, you know, because that's some driver strategies. Like some drivers know to underfuel and save fuel, and it ruins their race. But I'm reading comments. Excuse me, Jacob, at a Grand Prix thing, but the lead thing, Scott already said that start of stream, mate. So you're behind on that trend, and I wasn't gonna say.
You completely lost your train of thought there, mate.
Yeah, I have. Sorry, no, it's just wasting my brain cells on Jacob rotation. It hurts, you know. It really does. As Murphy's gotten 7/10 clears, it also ties my a second lease in life.
Yeah, they might still be coming into their own. Of course, they'll have dropped off the cliff a little bit quicker than the mediums, but the mediums will slowly catch up in that sort of degrade of the life of the tyre. Obviously, they're still both going to degrade, but there isn't a steady, gradual drop off in the grip as Ben picks up the second for 3 second time penalty of this race. But there isn't a gradual, linear decrease in the tyre grip. It is more like little jumps. So maybe the mediums now are starting to jump down a level in their tyre performance, their tyre life and grip, and coming a bit more unbalanced with the softs. CRL Spider 95 obviously fought differently, and he has went into the pits for a fresh set of mediums at the end of lap 11 there, or the end of lap 10, sorry, I should say. So we'll see if he can maybe try and stretch them out to the end. Victor Mean gets the move on Hedgehog 11 using that DRS down into turn number 1. And moves up into P8. MKP doing a very similar move onto Topher. Topher on those 11 lap old softs versus MKP's 11 lap old mediums. So again, maybe not too much difference in those tyre wears, but there's a few drivers earlier on, like we said, one of them, we're going to jump on board with him, Funny Osh Chimpy had to make an early pit stop due to, I'm assuming it was a collision. You must admit, you feel sorry for guys like him that get caught up in these early collisions, maybe through no fault of their own, and there's no safety car coming to save them. So Mark Wilson, looking in very strong positions as things stand. It's a little confidence booster for them, maybe knowing that this lead isn't going to be just scythed away. They've got 7 seconds to the car behind. If they can keep it clean and ride this out to the end, they could be on for a very good result. But we're just over 1/3 of the way through this Grand Prix as Mark Wilson dives back to the inside, tries to have a little look down into turn 1. These two getting very, very racy. 12 lap old tyres for both softs versus mediums, and the strategy call between them will be crucial for the result of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I do agree with you indeed. Yeah, it's it benefits those at the top, and the whole thing just it just, what's the word? It doesn't benefit the ones who are towards the back. But yeah, Mark Wilson on the back of Murphy. Softs don't last in this long. I am quite shocked at that. I knew they were survived, but I didn't think this long. Certainly Murph's going for a soft, medium strategy, I guess, as August on the back. Both these guys very low in ERS, so let's see what happens here. Mark should be on the better tyre by now, obviously. Murphy with a 2 second time penalty. Let's see what happens coming through the final few corners. Mark was trying to use some of his ERS to get on the back of the AlphaTauri. Obviously these two. Are they fight for a win in Australia, or am I thinking of someone? I think of someone else anyway. Here comes Mark Wilson on the back of Murphy. Murphy moving to the inside. Mark Wilson will find the outside line. Here we go into turn 1. Who will hold it? Mark Wilson and Murphy. Mark Wilson gets the outside line. Better traction. And gets past Murphy and up and out into P1. And these guys are going tooth and nail at the moment.
Yeah, they're really going. It's like an old World War II dog fight here between these pair, really going back and forward on each other, taking attempts and shots at each other as they can. Both very low in the old DRS, like you say. One thing to note as well, Murphy, of course, is likely to pit first from these softs, so he's going to get a massive undercut, but Mark is going to have to play the long game here. We assume he's maybe going to go and could we see the soft medium and the medium soft strategies coming into play here? So Murphy, of course, pit first, go into a fresh set of mediums and run them out to the end. He's going to have a lot more grip compared to Mark, because Mark runs very wide on the exit of turn number 10. But then Mark has a chance to come back later on fresh softs, or the hard tyres going to make an appearance, which, again, Murphy, if they both go on we'll find out very shortly then. Murphy does come in after 13 laps. What colour tyres are going to go in this AlphaTauri car, as he does make it into the pits without any speeding penalties. Easier said than done, it must be said. We've seen a few of them mess up a few races this season. We're going to just ride on board here with Murphy. Ben also coming in. It is going to be the yellow stripe mediums for Murphy. I'm assuming Ben is going to do something similar, and these will be a crucial few laps in for Murphy, for Ben, in this Grand Prix, because they are going to come out into traffic, Lee. They are going to be a lot quicker than the traffic they're coming out on, as Murphy just goes side by side with Victor Mean through turn 1 and 2. This is what I was just about to say. They've got to make it through this traffic, but they've got to do it cleanly. You can't go getting wing damage or losing too much time as well. And Ben is going to have that to contend with. Also, he came out in P11, so a long battle developing there, Lee. Murphy down in P6 on the fresh mediums. He's going to have a huge undercut on Mark, but he's got traffic to make through. It's going to get spicy. As spicy as it can get without a safety car, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Do agree on that one. What was I going to say? Yeah, well, I keep an eye on the cap. Mark Wilson saying that. I wonder if Mark Wilson sees it, because I know Mark, you watch streams. Hi, hello. I wonder if not pressure me. I wonder if he's seen that and think, maybe he was thinking hards before, maybe he's now thinking softs. It could change some strategy a little bit. We'll have to wait and see, though. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I am a driver, but I'm not a good one, so I'll have to wait and see. But Murphy passed currently. Hasn't had too much traffic, and now there's 5 seconds to the car red. So Murphy in lots of cleaner, and I believe it pit stop right here is about 22 seconds, I think. Murph 20.9, so he would be ahead. And Murph has to try and build the gap as much as he can, because with that 3 second, obviously Mark Wilson doesn't need to pass him obviously at the moment. But Murph has to keep him pushing, and he's already gained 5 tenths in one sector, so he's definitely pushing to his limit. He's going to gain a second already, and Murph is going for it. So see what Mark Wilson does in the next few laps.
Yeah, we'll see how it develops on out. Of course, he's going to push hard here. He knows he's got them 3 seconds. He's got the gap, of course, but he's also got to make the gap for when Mark Wilson comes out in fresher and likely softer tyres than he is currently on. Mark's going to have that pace advantage in the long run, of course, when they get to the end. Murphy, though, 6 tenths up on his best lap time, which I think was last lap of the race there. He's closing up to Wee Rabbi, closed up to Curly at a very, very convenient point, got the DRS and managed to make the move into turn 1. He's not going to have the same luck here for Wee Rabbi, just outside of the DRS, as Curly picks up a 3 second time penalty, and Nacho into the pits. He's going for the medium hard then. 16 laps on the mediums and then onto the hards towards the end of this race. We'll see how that develops out for him. Of course, you know, he's not going to have the same die-off in the tyres as maybe others, stretching the tyres out long, but he's not going to have the same pace because he's not using the softest compound of tyre. So maybe the alternative strat you could a million miles away from the likes of Murphy. So who knows later on in this race. Murphy getting a little bit held up there by wee Rabbie. Does get the move done though on the exit of turn number 5 and up into P3. He's going to be hunting down Will Simple, and then the man that he's really battling with, Mark Wilson, will be up next. But Crowley, Rabbie, sorry, is going to use this to his advantage, and maybe not actually. How did wee Rabbie not get DRS there?
Because it's F123 scope. Yeah, Murphy's calls. It was 20 point. It was 20. Well, it was like I don't know exactly, but he's getting 2 seconds this lap. He's flying on his new tires. So do over here. Will Simple at the pit. Obviously, still quite a few drivers at the pit. A good. I mean, they have the grid hasn't put in yet, to be fair. So still lots of drivers to come inside the track. They're not. And also another thing about Mark Wilson. I wonder if he saw how Murphy went and think, lower fuel and the track is more gripped up. If Murphy can make those soft last 13 laps and still keep up with me, and then I can go the same distance and probably even faster. So I reckon seeing Murphy do it could have given a bit of confidence. But also, it's gotten quite overcast in the last few minutes, guy. I've just noticed that.
I was just looking at there, I was watching, I believe it was Ben coming down into turn 1, looking up in the background. It's got ever so slightly overcast and a little bit dark looking overhead, so maybe, just maybe,
Spicy.
There's a sprinkling of rain in the air about to come. I was having a little look through as well. There's a few cars with that yellow fuel indicator. Ben was one of them. Hedgehog 11 looks to be one of them, as Mark Wilson does pit from P1, 17 lap on those mediums. Let's get on board with Murphy then and see where he's going to line up. He's easily going to take the lead of this group. Well, not the lead, but the net lead. Mark Wilson onto the softs then. 14 laps to the end. We've seen Murphy do that distance, and Mark is easily going to do that distance, especially with less fuel. But the rain could play havoc here. This will be a battle to keep an eye on, because Mark is going to be so much pacier on that one compound softer tyre. But the rain, Lee. When's it going to come? Is it going to come? And how is it going to affect this race? The gap from Murphy to Mark Wilson, 8.2 seconds as Murphy does dispatch of Will Simple up into P1. But bear in mind, penalties still apply. Get your abacus out, folks. This is going to be a count-up.
I mean, you've used that the last 3 weeks, I suppose, God.
Oh, shit, mate. I love an abacus.
We had rain in Canada last week, which spiced the race up, and also bought quite a few jokes. It was... I'm trying to think of a funny pun, but I can't think of it. I'm struggling here, but yeah. Mark's flying already. He's on the soft tires, which will die probably around the same time. I'm just thinking, I say Mark Wilson and Murphy tires will die roughly around the same time. Obviously, Murphy have falling up all the tires and what Mark does, so there actually shouldn't be too much of a difference in terms of when they die. So Mark Wilson should keep on pushing. He's now got the gap of 7.7. He's getting nearly a second on the outlap, so we'll see what he can do. Obviously, it only needs to be within 3 seconds to win, but we know Mark, he's not the type of driver. He wants to win on track. There's further down Ben, going from me with Hedgehog. 2 drivers who are almost certainly not going to finish the race because, they're lack of fuel, unless they save like crazy. Ben up in the 7th. And when I choose the victory should get to pit. So is Curly. So, yeah, but I will say with the rain thing, if I was Mark Wilson, I wouldn't have went soft, so it was going to rain. So maybe not, but I mean, hopefully it does. It'd be quite interesting for us, Scott, so I would not mind it one bit.
Yeah, we'll wait and see how it develops on. Duncan puts in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1:14.3.1. Free on the set of soft tyres for the Mercedes. Mark Wilson really starting to scythe through this gap to the front two. Of course, he is going to have a little bit of a pace advantage being on that softer tyre, but every lap that advantage is going to get that little bit littler, that little bit smaller. He's going to have less and less of an advantage lap after lap after lap. So the gap currently about 6.2 seconds between them. He needs to be within 3 seconds with the penalties, and well, there's a statement of intent if I've ever seen one. 1:14.133 from Mark Wilson, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Jump board quickly with wee Rabbie. He's trying to make a move on MKP for P9. out of the 16 cars still running. Remember, 12 will get points here tonight if 12 do indeed finish, of course. But Wee Rabbie making the move with the assist of the DRS up into P9 Lee, and back to his teammate Mark then. He's getting very close to the DRS of Will Simple.
He is indeed, yeah. Mark Wilson looking to try, obviously he won last season, then switched the wheel and turned off traction, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, a big change for him, but he started off the season so, but I remember you said, Scott, well, me and you in particular said that, just give Mark Wilson a few races to back up to this pace he was, and walk with him, he's flying, he's going to get past Will Simple now. That's how much faster the softs are. He's already passed him, he's going to fly after the Murph now. 5.4 seconds, we'll see if we can close the gap. Mark Wilson will charge it, he wants another championship, he's hungry for it, and he's now been set after Murphy. Will Simple is still staying out, he's definitely going soft, or he's trying to go to the rain. So you don't know, so curling into the pits for Alfa Romeo. Victor Mean still staying out, so just strategy for him. Who is next? Ben low on the back of Victor Mean. We'll get past him. Open the P5. Ben will want to. Oh, there is rain. I've seen the rain drop. I think I have.
There is rain indeed coming. This could be.
Go.
Curly is onto the
That's
intermediates.
That's very
early and a bold call, but this. This is about to get very, very spicy. Mark Wilson maybe kicking himself, thinking, should I stretch those tyres 4 laps earlier? Tommy Tiptop picks up a 5-second penalty speed in the pit lane, of course. That pit lane's going to get a bit damp, it's going to get a bit greasy, and that's going to make life very, very hard for some of these drivers stopping in time. 1 lap old hards, of course, Lee. They don't, the hards struggle to gain temperature at the best of times sometimes. They're going to struggle when it gets a bit wet and a bit cold. And you couple that with the pit entry, it could get interesting.
Be careful, Will.
Yeah, everybody just be careful, I would say. Wee Rabbie is trying to get past one of those hard runners of Hedgehog 11. The softs, the fresh softs, like some of your Mark Wilsons, your Wee Rabbie, your Topher, your Duncan, they're going to have a better time on the dries with the softs. They're going to keep in temperature a bit better, they're going to grip in a bit better, but even for them, these conditions could get very, very precarious very, very soon. And now the battle at the front, even your likes of your Will Simple, your natural one, just as I say his name, he has lost it coming through turn 3. That will be
because the game's stupid, it won't be.
It should, in an ideal world that was a safety car, everybody onto the intermediates and the strategy element is gone. Now there's some bold calls for your likes of your Nacho, your likes of your Victor Main, Mark Wilson, Murphy. When do you pit for the intermediates? This is going to be a crucial decision that makes or breaks not just their race, but everybody on the grid's race. MKP is into the pits, Toma Tiptop has been in for them, and Curly on the intermediates. I haven't paid much attention to how he's sort of running.
Murphy's round! He spun into the wall, I believe he has damage. Murphy, oh no! He was in the net race lead, and he was stabilising Gavin Macross. He's now round. Oh, Murphy, no, he's wing damage now. I do believe he's damage anyway. I'm going to check the car. Yeah, is that damage? Yeah, it is damage.
Front right end plate is gone on
Murphy, no. Mark Wilson now 8 seconds clear. He's fallen off the distance, but Murphy has damage. And couldn't pit, obviously, because he was past the bollards. Like, it would have been an illegal pit entry. He's going from at least not. See, this is a pickle for him because obviously he wants to pit, right? But it's not ready for inters, so he can't go inters. And if he pits dry, he'll have to pit soon anyway. So he's actually, it's the worst time to pit it. It really is for Murphy.
It really is. The rain's starting to pick up here a little bit in Barcelona, Catalonia, but just maybe not quite enough for the NRC. Curly is still losing time to the likes of Spider, I believe, in front, who's on 13 lap old medium, so maybe not quite there for the intermediate. So I was trying to get on with Nacho as he goes down the inside of Murphy, and just as I went to switch the camera, he got past him and it put me on to Ben. But Nacho getting past Murphy, quite pedestrian, and an easy overtake for him there. The stricken AlphaTauri languishing down in P3 now. He has got a 9-second gap to Ben behind, but that gap quickly deteriorating here, and Murphy is going to come into the pits. Yes, he does. I suspect then
I wonder what he
it'll be
pits onto.
intermediates.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I mean, he's better off taking the pain now, and there's a lot more time for pits dryers, so we'll see what Murphy does there. Mark Wilson, 12 seconds to car. I mean, he's done it again. He did it in Canada. Everyone behind him is making a mistake. He's just so cool. I don't think this man knows what pressure is. I really don't. Yeah, Murphy onto the inters.
He's
Wait,
so
he gets wing
cool.
pressure. What? Wait,
The way you said
yeah.
that was so brilliant. He's
No,
so
no,
cool.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
him.
yeah,
I'm his
yeah,
biggest
fine.
fan.
Yeah, fine. Get spoiled if he made a mistake. No, Murphy. I'm not sure if you watched Murphy in the pits, and he got his wing changed and tires on it in like 2 seconds.
Alpha Tauri.
Anyhow,
What are
no
they?
flag. Who is that? That is towards the back. I'm not sure who it is. It's
That is
MKP.
MKP, yep. He is had a
MK.
spin. I was keeping an eye on the timing boards there, and Curly was slowly starting to reel in the gap towards Spider before Spider had that spin. So the intermediates maybe starting to come into a little bit of their own, a little bit of play. Murphy is on them, and although they are slightly cold, just fresh in the car,
Mark
he is
in.
making time up to those in front. Mark Wilson in from P1. And
Nacho stays out.
likely still get a set of intermediates. So Nacho staying out then in P2. What about Ben? He's just rounding the final couple of corners. We'll see what he decides to go for. Maybe is this just a quick little shower? Ben does come in for the Haas team. Maybe Nacho playing the big brain game and just trying to hold out track position, and maybe this rain will get a little
Ben,
bit lighter
no.
as Ben is, I think I called
Victor
it.
Means still
He
staying out.
does. McLaren boys going for the track position then. They obviously think this rain isn't going to stay long, it isn't going to get that heavy, and it's not going to be worth the pit stop and then having them maybe run intermediates on a dry track towards the end of the race. We'll wait and see. Hedgehog 11 also doing a very similar thing. He's got
He hasn't
Murphy
pit yet.
closing in behind Murphy. Yeah, he hasn't, but to be fair, there's
Oh,
but
Topher.
intermediates. Topher, that is
Exit of the final.
that's coming into the pits.
Be a pit lane, yeah, we mentioned it, we really did. That's very slippery there. Into the pits. And Mark Wilson is not gaining much time at the moment. He's only gaining a 10th or so. That one's doing a right good thing. Where's Curry? His car's gone, but yeah, you can see the debris there on the inside. Yeah, that's definitely a pit lane crash. But it is time to get heavier though, so I think Nacho. I think Mark made the right call. Stay. He's gaining lots of time. So we'll see what Nacho does. I mean, does he risk it? Or does he just pit and take second place? Yeah, he's pitting. Okay, fair enough, Nacho. Might as well take his. Don't crash the pit lane, no, he doesn't. Nacho in. Ghost Engine 1 is retired. In the pit, is that a pit thing as well? I believe it is. Mark Wilson will see come around the final corner. It is! 2 drivers have absolutely sent into the pit wall. We said it was going to be slippy. It's been very slippy for some. Victor Means still. Why is Victor Means still staying out?
He's
He
up in for the track
He hasn't
position.
pitted yet.
He doesn't need the pit though, because we were on to intermediate tyres. I don't think he actually needs the pit.
No,
I'm not too
I
sure.
think he does because the race was declared dry, no, at the start.
No, but it's been declared wet now because there's wet tyres, so he doesn't need to use 2 compounds. But I
Yeah,
don't
but
know if that
also,
only applies
it's
if
very
the
wet.
car uses.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I'm not.
There's a
Too
technicality
sure.
in the rules here that
I thought
Yeah.
the rule was that I thought the race at the start on inters or wet for that they come in. Natural get past them. I don't know why he's staying there anyway. It's wet tires, so he isn't gaining much from doing so anyhow. You know, let's not judge drivers. Let's just commentate.
I mean, maybe he's
that's what we
maybe
are.
rolling the dice here, because if you look, there's if we go to the leader gap here, and he loses say
Aye.
22 seconds, that's going to put him down in about P7. Yeah, he could maybe try and make up positions in those in front, but is he going to lose all that time and lose the positions in those laps? He's maybe thinking, I've got enough pace in these hards to keep these guys either behind or keep some of them behind and keep within. Bear in mind, the next 4 behind him have penalties.
Oh, he's in.
No, he is going to come into the pits.
Oh,
Very late
he's almost
call,
gone
and
very
almost-
deep.
almost
Nearly
into
there.
the
Oh
wall.
my god.
So it is going to be an intermediate drive to the finish here with 6 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. And it is going to be, I would
Everyone's
say,
kinda
for the
spread.
most part, yeah, pretty pedestrian. A lot of maybe on-track battling going on. It's going to be more battling the car and battling the elements. Duncan getting pretty close to the rear of MKP, however, and Victor Main are going to come out of the pits comfortably in P7, well ahead of Hedgehog 11. fresh intermediates, of course, they're not going to wear the same as dries, as MKP makes a mistake and Duncan almost rear ends him. Going into the last corner, the two of them come together and MKP pushed off track into the barrier. A little bit of coming together there between the Williams and the Mercedes. Thankfully, I was going to say thankfully he's got away alright, but I didn't see the colossal amount of wing damage lying at the side of the track, and thankfully though, nothing affecting the car. I think it was funny with his chimp as he came back on, because I don't actually know his ghosting's on. That could be the other glitch that could be affecting this race.
Let me have
maybe so, it's because I'm just trying to waffle here pretty much, but I'm trying to think back to lap 1 where there was a bit of an incident. I wonder if maybe that glitch is affected as well.
No, it is on, because I've seen Ghost in one lap and he ghosted. So that is on. I can confirm. Maybe it's just been slow.
Right.
That's quite a possibility. But you know, Rabbi on the back of Curly for P5. Rabbi doing very well in P6. We'll throw him for P5. I mean, DRS is still enabled. It happened in Canada, it's happening again. Oh my word. Still enabled. Rabbi will have DRS on a completely wet track. He'll get past Curly, open the P5. But see, the other part is done. I'm going to give you some. Yeah, it's okay. Perfect. If you're currently, you hate the FIA. If you're happy, you love the FIA. After that one, but you know what? While we're here, I'm going to give you some fun facts.
Oh boy,
from the Spanish Grand Prix. Well, just Spain in general. So, Spain was actually one of the first countries after the COVID pandemic to let fans back in. Only 1,000 attended that race in 2021, and they've only had one world champion, Fernando Alonso. And do you know? So, there's been 3 tracks to host the Spanish Grand Prix. We had Jerez, we had Catalonia, but do you know are you aware of all the other tracks go?
Oh, to host a Spanish Grand Prix, not a European Grand Prix.
Spanish Grand Prix, yes.
Because obviously we had Valencia hosted the European Grand Prix, the street circuit, the sort of the ill-fated street circuit. A Spanish Grand Prix, of course, Jerez, legendary track. I can't actually. Spain.
So do you want to answer them?
Oh, go on, give me the answer.
It's sort of from the late 1950s to early 1970s. We raced at Jarama. I've never heard of that track until now, so that's the news to me. But
I like how you came to me asking. I know, because you seem to think I'm that old. I was around as MKP retires in the pits.
Fair enough.
Maybe Murphy might remember that.
Whoa, Dan, we can't. He's getting podium and you can't get a podium.
We can't dog in Murphy tonight. He's had a bit of bad luck here tonight. Duncan closing up to the rear of Tomo Tip Top. 12 cars still in this race here, Lee, as it will be points all round for those that finish. Let's not forget though, the old fuel thing might be kicking in here pretty soon as Duncan makes a little bit of contact with Tomo Tip Top into turn 1. That nose of the Mercedes just injecting itself into the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo, giving him a little bit of a push just to let him know that he is there. Tomo Tip Top does have a penalty, of course. And the sister Alfa Romeo also involved in a little bit of fight with the Ferrari of wee Rabi. Penalty update, I suppose we better give you that as well. 3 seconds for Murphy and Curley, 5 seconds for Rabi and Tomo, and 8 seconds for Ben. That could be pretty costly.
He's fighting third, yeah. He's right on the back of Murphy. He's actually got a much better exit. Has he? No, I thought he did, but he's in a session. Ben can go for this here. Murphy's not using him, Ben is. Murphy's going to fight someone. He's going to try and just stick with Ben. Yeah, that's a 5-second penalty. Ben up in the net third, but we'll have to pull a massive gap in 2 laps. Mark Wilson. The gap's gone down by a decent bit, but I think Mark Wilson just trying to bring action. I was trying to push too hard. But one more fact for you, Scott. Do you know when Catherine Wynne became the permanent home of the Spanish Grand Prix?
It was. Oh, I'm thinking I was going to say 1976, but I think that was the year that the Spanish Grand Prix returned to the calendar, or like officially sort of came on. I know Jerez was a lot during the 90s.
I'll tell you for hot or cold.
I'm going to go for 2001.
You're 10 years off. It was 1991.
It was 1991. I seem to remember Jerez being on like the 97 calendar.
Jerez was European Grand Prix, I think, for a few.
Ah, there we go. That's how
Even
it
I
is.
noticed, and I wasn't even thought in anyone's mind, Scott. Come on.
Yeah, but I've been about that long, Lee, that there's so much facts in my head that I can't
You're
just
old.
contain them all.
Yeah, you're very old. It's fine. You know, I accept it, but
Exactly,
drop my lap.
Nacho over that lap has
Oh,
gained
yellow
a second.
flag.
I think that's Hedgehog 11
Hedgehog.
through the final sector. Nacho's gained just over a second in that lap, but he's going to need to gain just about 3 or 4 seconds each lap to try and make the move work. Mark Wilson, I think, like you say, is just settling in and trying to avoid that penalty, because one penalty could really put on the pressure and open up.
Oh! Nah, that's too funny.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that. That was mad.
Yeah.
Commentator cross. That was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, 6 months, he should be fine. Now, we're keeping on at that, but I've just been watching a great battle for P5, P5 between Rabi, Curling, and Victor Mean. Victor Mean on the younger tires, Curling on the older tires. It's yellow flag. That is Hedgehog.
I think that's
Chips out of fuel. Oh, they're both out of fuel, that's what it is.
Ah, that's right. I noticed Hedge was going very slow. So Hedge out of fuel, Chimp out of fuel. Let's just have a quick run through the grid. Thomas Tip Top looks fine. Duncan fine. Spider fine. Victor Mean looks fine. Curly looks fine. Rabi looks fine. Murphy looks fine. Ben was flashing earlier on in the Grand Prix. He is fine. And the top two are both fine. So nobody else should be stricken by fuel. But our back two of Hedgehog 11 and Funny Osh Chimp, well, they're going to ride this out to the end. They are probably, in fact, one of them already has been lapped, so they're just going to have to get this car to the line, and they will get at least a point. But Mark Wilson, 6.6 seconds. He has got a 3-second penalty, of course. Nacho's going to need a big lap here to try and snatch this win away, and it'll be the battle for the podium, which I think at the moment it's going to maybe just go to Ben. Is it?
No, it won't.
Oh, no,
it'll just go to Murphy. No, it'll just go to Murphy.
I was thinking Murphy had a 5-second penalty. But it's a
it'll be just by a second. Yeah, you're right. That would be very tight. We're keeping on that. Mark Wilson, though, he did it in Canada. He dominated in changeover conditions. He's done it again here. Murph made a mistake, but you know he hasn't been phased by that. And Mark Wilson, it's on the rise.
It's flashing red with fuel light.
Oh, he should make it. Round the final corner, Mark Wilson is your Spanish Grand Prix winner, the first driver of the season to win 2 races in a row. He wins here in Spain. What a drive. Nacho taking home a very solid podium. Keeping his streak of on-track podiums in Cone. He loves them. But the battle for third here, it's 4.1. Murphy just about has it, but he's gone a bit deep into turn 10. The gap's going up a little bit, as there's a yellow flag further back. I'm not too sure who that is. I believe that's one of them. Is that a Mercedes? I don't know. A 4.7, it's right there. It's right on the fence. 4.9, it's over 5 seconds. It's 5.1. Ben's got it. I think Ben's just about got it. He has. What a final sector from Ben. He's found 8 tenths, I believe, nearly. How has he managed that? Murphy's run for a podium, still wait for a podium goes on. We grab him across the line, he'll fall down. The 7th, Victor Mean up in the 5th, Curly in 6th. How's Murphy done that?
I wonder if it's maybe been the ERS. Murphy was sitting with 50%, and yeah, you can't really use it much around the corners here in these conditions.
I bet it's 72.
Yeah, but Murphy wasn't really using his on the little straight, so whether it's that or whether it was a fuel thing, whether Murphy was just starting to choke out on the old fuel, because we've seen a lot of red flashing lights here. Spider and Duncan cross the line. Duncan goes P8, Spider goes P9 as we see a bit of a car fly off in the distance, and Thomas Tip Top is going to come home and it'll last the checker flag. He was up there in the championship fight as well, P10 for him. Chimp in P12 at the moment. This could really put a spin on things in that championship battle, Lee, but that was simultaneously, I think, one of the most weirdest and dramatic and also sort of a bit of a slow burner at times as well. It was such a weird race with the glitch of the safety car and the whole tire, the rain coming in so late and the variety of strategies we've seen. It was a very unique one, I should say. Oh, and Lee seems to disappear.
No, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a few drivers on that for the safety car. I'm just trying to calm them down in tier 5 chat. So I'm here, but yeah, I didn't quite catch what you were saying, Scott. So I was too focused on trying to type. So if you want to repeat what you said, that'd be very kind of you, if you don't mind.
I was basically just saying that the race was pretty unique for the season. With the safety car glitch sort of throwing a big spanner in the works, and the variety of strategies in the late rain. It was. I don't think it'll be up there for race of the season, but in its own way, it was very unique, very entertaining, and it had its moments.
Yeah, it definitely did indeed. A very different race than most. Maybe not the most entertaining, but very. See, most tracks don't see a lot of strategy, whereas this race had a lot of strategy, even with the rain. Even without the rain, it would have a lot of strategy, but the rain added to it, so that was a different kind of enduro race for you strategy fanatics out there. I'm inviting the guys now to the podium, and yeah, a few drivers on the side, not happy with the safety car glitch, but it's not really anyone's fault. It's just, if you want to blame it on anyone, blame it on Cody's at the end of the day. It's no one's fault at all, as it was Nacho and Ben who got on the podium, right? If I'm correct. BX37.
Yes, it was.
Right
Mark,
there, being avoided.
Nacho, and Ben.
Yeah, there we go. They've been avoided. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna do my calming down duties in tier 5. So,
Yeah, it is a shame, it must be said, the way that Codemasters have sort of, in a way, they've tried to patch the game, they've tried to fix things, and in very much EA and Codemasters typical cliche standard, they've let's not beat around the bush. They've made a little bit of an arse of it, and kind of messed up some of the settings. I don't think there's really any other way of describing it. They've made a mess of it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the second patch we've had in 2 weeks as well, if I'm rightly. And it's still not right. But there'll be plenty of time for us to have a moan and a rant about this game, like we do most weeks, to be fair, Lee. But we do have our free podium sitters, and as I like to do every now and again, and considering that my voice isn't at the best of standards tonight, I'm going to hand things over to you, mate, and let you take on the interviews.
very kind to starting with Marcos, and I mean, I'm certainly used to hearing having you here in P1, mate. Just take to the race another changeable condition race. Just take us through from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, wet qualifying, which I don't know if it's been noted, but every race that's rained, I've come out on top on. So
Very true.
yeah, when it qualified in the wet, I thought, oh, I might have a chance at this awful track. And yeah, I managed to get pole, and then see that it was dry at the start, and I thought, oh, and then Mark or Jeff, whatever his name is, was going off 10 minutes to rain, 15 minutes to rain, and then all of a sudden he said, oh, the rain's here. Yeah, and from that point on, it was closer to me and Murphy, but I think he had an unfortunate spin, so yeah, dropped him out. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Fair enough. I'm certainly used to seeing you here. That's 2 wins in a row now. Is there a late championship charge for you coming on?
Oh, like I said last week.
You did say, yeah. I remember what you said.
Last season, I was there or thereabouts up until halfway, and then the second half of the season, I just sort of put my head down, and yeah, I mean, I think it might be a late charge to the title this year as well.
Yeah, your second half of the season, you have won the first 2 races so far. Next week, we're heading to Abu Dhabi. Do you reckon there's another one in the cards?
Abu Dhabi, another crap track. I don't know. I mean, I would say, because I haven't really practiced it on the wheel. I've only practiced it on the pad. So on the pad and on a wheel, it felt a lot better. So I'm hoping maybe with the wheel, it might be a little bit better. Let's wait and see. I'm not ruling out anything. After these 2 wins, I've got sort of my mojo back. So who knows?
That's good, man. Confidence is a great thing. Congrats on your P1, and hopefully I'll get the interview next week.
Oh, can I just shout out Danielle, because I know she's going to be burning me otherwise.
I was hoping you're going to do it.
You
I'm
know
sharing
what?
you just in case you
I'm so
didn't. But
expecting it now from you to actually say it yourselves. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, she's watching in the other room. She told me about the safety car glitch as well. Because I was thinking, why on earth is there not a safety car? But there seems to be a little glitch in the game.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the game. It's not really anyone's fault. It's just Codemasters being Codemasters, really. But
Oh
it is
yes.
what it is, mate. Congrats on the P1 and good luck for next week.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Next up, we have my favourite man, Mr. Nacho. Hang on, my friend. P2 for you. Continuing your streak of podiums on track so far this season. Just
On
take
track.
consideration your perspective. Yeah, on track. On track.
Disappointed that there was a wet race because I thought I really had to pace on in the draw. Yeah, didn't really make qualifying work, but then I did have some issues with my high dive downforce setup because I could get really close behind people, but then drive away from me. So I was lucky to get away from them in the corners, and then just drove my heart out. Didn't do much else.
Yeah,
The
fair
second
enough.
half of my race was just driving on my own, so
Yeah.
not much
It did,
happened until the rain.
it did seem quite lonely, but obviously I did notice you had a hard down for setup, but that's now another podium for you. Are you thinking of a late charge for championship, or is it just try and rack up as many podiums and wins as you can?
Well, thinking of the championship, top 3 now, so
Yeah.
I kind of have to. I'll probably try to go for it.
So we'd like to hear, mate. Next week we head to Abu Dhabi. Thoughts on that track?
It's been shit for all I've known. Honestly, it's terrible. There's not a lot of tracks on this calendar that I really like, so.
You know what?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Congrats, mate. Congrats on PC, and hopefully I'll speak to you next week.
Thank you.
Next up, Ben, P3 for you. You just got it there with that, in the final sector. Just, how was that race for you? So led to her. I mean, all 3 shares in the championship. Plus, we have Shim, Tom. It's just, it's so tight at the top. Like 6 drivers all within the contention. It's crazy. Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, well, you're a few. Obviously, unfortunately, there was a glitch with no city car. So, if you had to just take a guess, how much time do you reckon you would have lost? Just 1.5 laps of fuel is a lot to save, especially around track at Spain. Yeah. Yeah, mate. Congrats on your P3 and good luck for next week. Well, Scott, hopefully you're still here. I think I'm starting to become natural with this.
You,
I
you
do think
think
I
this
am
way?
indeed.
I didn't understand, and
I
that was
think
so
I'm.
Irish.
I think I'm becoming a natural at this.
Oh, natural. I thought you said natural. Yeah, you're definitely getting into the swing of things, mate. Thank you once again for joining me tonight, and congratulations to Mark, Nacho, and Ben on our professional podiums, of course, all pre-stewardom, but, you know, we'll wait and see with that. If there is anything, I think overall the racecraft looked pretty good for the battles that we did get, and hopefully nothing. But once again, congratulations to the three of you. We'll be back, of course, Abu Dhabi next week, Lee. Another rework track should be another good one. Maybe not so much rain next time though.
I mean, it's L23. You never know.
I have seen an Inters race around Abu Dhabi before, actually.
I have
It
to.
has happened, so you never know. Don't rule it out. But before all that, that's of course next Monday, 8:15 p.m. We'll be here. Jamie, of course, 7:30 p.m. for Tier 4. He'll be here. But before all that, of course, we've got three lovely tiers on first night. Tier 3 kicks off at 7:30 p.m. You can catch our very own CRL Spider and AFL in the comms box for that. Tier 2 and Tier 1 both kick off at 8 p.m. Jonathan and RDR Glowstick in Tier 2 with, I believe this week it is Indigo and our very own making a return to the comms booth. It's Mr. BT coming in for Tier 1.
Ooh.
You'll be able to see Lee in that race getting commentated over.
No, I'm not racing on Thursday.
Oh, so you're not here. Oh, well, there you go. That's another thing I made a mess of. But I think without further ado, Lee, we'll round things off here pretty shortly tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And yeah, we'll see you